And I've done a video before where other people think that you are attractive, but in a way it's just so that you know your starting point and to do something about it if people think you're unattractive. This is the first sign that other people think you're unattractive, and it's when they don't give you eye contact when you're trying to talk to them. And it's a simple sign because when someone gives you eye contact, it just shows that they respect you more, that they actually like to be around you. And when they like to be around you, they listen to what you have to say. The next thing that I was going to say in terms of signs that other people think you're unattractive. So for example, you know when people have no filter when it comes to dating, it's because they don't really like you like that. For instance, you could give people all the attention and all the validation that they want, but if they have no intention of being in a relationship, it doesn't matter what you do or what you say. So that's why you need to realize that looks will get you in the door, but you need to think about it if people want to be in a relationship, and to not only be with someone just based on looks. So when someone else doesn't value your attention, it's because the attention you give them, they aren't willing to give you that same attention. So when you put your attention into someone else and not yourself, you then expect that person to owe you something, but at that point they don't really owe you something, but instead you stayed so long enough that you know everything about them, but they don't really know anything about you. When you're investing heavy into someone else that doesn't really like you, you need to know when to pull back. Some people will play games, so you need to know when to pull back. And when you know how to pull back, you start to realize how people will react. But if you pull back and then you realize they don't really give you any energy at all, then that means it's good that you pull back, because the sooner that you do it, the better. And you don't want it to be that you don't pull back at all, but instead you're chasing that person even more. The point that I'm trying to make is to know when to leave, so that you leave with some dignity and some pride. So in terms of dating apps and in terms of meeting people in person, you start to realize because of your location that that's why people aren't really attracted to you. One thing that I wanted to say in terms of signs that other people think you're unattractive is when you're in an area but no one's really attracted to you. So that's what I'm going to say, because you're in an area and everyone sees you as their friend. But that's why when you move to a different area or you visit another area, you start to experience what it's like to be somewhere else and to meet other people that could be more attracted to you. And the reason why I said visit is because not everyone is able to just live in a different area, and not everyone can afford a different area. So that's why it's good to visit, because you don't have to live there full time, and you can visit as often as you like to see if you like one area or another. So what I'm going to say, you know, for example, if people think you're unattractive, it's because you need to look at it this way. You know, the people that you meet is kind of similar to like your attraction level. And I've kind of noticed this because, you know, for example, when someone is unattractive and they don't take care of themselves, they are naturally going to attract someone that is unattractive and doesn't take care of themselves. And that's really a starting point that you can take away from this video, because when you're focused on your grooming, your clothing style, the way you carry yourself around other people, it just means you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to look for more opportunities to meet people. When it comes to online, people are looking at your pictures, they're looking at your videos of how you appear. But when it comes to in person, people are more focused on your body language. And that's what I'm going to say, because if you're talking to people and they're not even facing you at all, it just means that they're not really attracted to you at all. When you focus on your appearance, you start to realize that people would want to do things for you. And that's a good thing, because even though you can do things yourself, when you start taking care of yourself, people would want to naturally do things for you. So that's what I'm going to say, because once you accept the patterns, you start to realize a pattern of what people are really into you. And that's really a good thing, because once you start to notice the people that are into you, it means that you can start going towards them. And it is up to you, but at the same time, it's better to choose someone that is high interest. It's better to choose someone that is high interest rather than being with someone that looks good but they're low interest. But if you happen to be with someone that looks good and they're high interest, then that's really a bonus. Once you start noticing the patterns and you realize that location plays a huge role, sometimes it's not even you, but it's based on people's preference, based on how they were brought up as a child, like their childhood. And then also you start to realize that it's based on what people are used to. So that's what I'm going to say on that. It's good to know people's behaviors and people's patterns. It's when you start to present yourself to them, but they start to have a certain behavior towards you. But when it happens to someone else, they seem to have a better reaction. Depending on how people behave is a good indicator of if they find you attractive or not. But when it comes to someone wanting to be with you, it's very clear. And that's really a clear sign, because you need to know people's behaviors and you need to know their preferences. And I'm going to relate it back to my dating experience, because when it comes to girls giving me the most attention, it's mainly my own race. And it's not a bad thing, it's really a good thing. But at the same time, if I didn't notice that, I realized that it could take a while for me to actually be on dates. So that's what I'm going to say, because once you start to notice a pattern with the types of girls or guys that like you, you are more likely to get dates if you start realizing the patterns. But then also you're more likely to find people that are intentional or being with you in a relationship if you start looking at your patterns and start focusing on your location. And another thing that I'm going to say is, because you can't be mad at someone if they have a preference. And I truly applaud people that have no preference at all. So I'm going back on my point when it comes to preferences. And you know, when people say that they don't have a preference in terms of someone that they may like, I truly believe that most people do have a preference. And if you don't, then that's very rare. So when people don't have a preference, they're more focused on personality. I would say that some people don't really have a personality because they're more focused on their looks. And that's why you try and be the funniest person. And I'm just going to say this, because I do get it that some people can be attractive and have a personality. But in most cases, people either have looks or they have personality. And when it comes to preferences, I said personality because it's something that comes up in conversation a lot more. You need to start to realize that there is a pattern, and the location that you are plays a huge role. And you can't control if someone's attracted to you or not. So that's what I'm going to say. But you can control your appearance. You can control the environments you put yourself in. And you can control the type of people that you're talking to. And when I mean you can control the types of people you're talking to, it means by putting yourself in those environments. But you can't control what people think about you. That's what I'm trying to say.